Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
We're here. It's Wise Women's Wednesday. And I see that Eileen is already in the house and she's hashtagging her Hot Melt 30. What about you? Have you hashtagged your Hot Melt 30? I have. I certainly have. Have you put your pictures in? I did. I went full in. I went all the way in and I just, I wanted you guys to see I am far from perfect. I'm working on this just as much as you are. And guess what? The more we do, the more we step away from fear and step into actually doing something and just saying, whatever. Our amygdala rewards us and gives us a big old dose of dopamine. Isn't that so great? Hi, Flynn. It's good to see you. So glad you're here. And I'm so glad all of you are here, honestly, because this is how we move the needle in our lives. This is the Daily Dish, bringing vibrancy back into your everyday life, heart, mind, body, and soul. Don't you think that's a great idea? I think it's fantastic. And this week, what are we doing? It's Fear Week. Fear Week. Hi, Leisha. What is Fear Week? Fear Week is just like Shark Week, only different. Hi, Laura. Good to see you. Yeah, it's like Shark Week, only different because, sharks are scary. They're under the water. We don't see them. We're scared. They're going to eat us. They're going to do all kinds of things. Usually that's just, not going to happen. But, that's how fears are. There's something that we usually can't see. Hey, Jennifer, I'm so glad you're here. Noreen's in the house too. So we're going to go into fear today. We're going to talk about fear of success today, as opposed to fear of failure, which we covered yesterday. And, oh, yes. I'm so glad Leisha got our skincare. We love our Leisha. Did you see her pretty picture? And a lot of you are posting your pictures, and I thank you for doing that because this is a big deal that we're doing this. It's jumping outside of our comfort zone. Can I just get an amen on that, right? Hey, Lily, it's good to see you. And there is our girl Carla and Joanne and Tammy, and there's Sarah. Doris is in the house. Same with Helen. Good deal. I'm so glad you're here. So everybody's putting their pictures out. They're doing all the things. It's great. It's day 2 of the Hot Melt 30. If you don't know what that is, go to savingdinner.com/30. Any way you do it, you can type it out and say 30 THIRTY, or you can put 30, whatever you want to do. Hey, Leisha, good to see you. Good job, Satan. Oh, Leisha, I thought you were saying good job, Satan. Good job, Sarah. That was funny. Redsky's in the house. It's good to see you as well. So we're going to be diving right into that. Our success tools are everything. Vanessa, day 2, she's all over that. Aren't you? She's all over that. Day 2, this is pretty exciting stuff. If you go to savingdinner.com/quote, you can see our quote decks and what they're all about because they're marvelous little things. And you get a quote that's going to knock you over with a cosmic 2x4 and tell you who you really are. Mm-hmm. And they come in this little quote deck. It's a little plastic box of all of the cosmic 2x4s. So check that out. If you don't have them already, doesn't it make a difference? You who have them, doesn't it make a difference seeing that reminding you every single day? It makes a big difference for me. And then also we have our wonderful little mindful mug. Now these are flying out the door, even though you can't stick them in the dishwasher. And these mindful mugs are fabulous because they remind you to sit down and eat mindfully. Don't you love that? Doris is in the house. So is Cheryl. It's good to see you both. So anyway, that's how this whole thing happens. That's how this whole thing rolls. And I'm telling you what a difference they make. That's why we call them success tools. Tomorrow night, we are doing sort of an impromptu, if you will, sprint webinar. If we haven't done one live in a very, very long time, number one. Number two, let me just say this, that the reason that we're doing it is because our regular 7-day sprint starts on Monday. Now, Monday the 7th. So, but hear me for a minute. Not everybody is hot melt 30ing, right? And as we who are hot melt 30ing can certainly be supportive of those who are just doing the regular sprint, can't we? So show up and be a part of the hot melt sprint. Go to savingdinner.com/sprint. Get yourself signed up. We'll send out an email as well. And the whole thing is, and I want you there. And I've got one more thing to say. We are recording this tomorrow for what they call an evergreen webinar. And it is going to be part of our Facebook ad thing. And so I need you to show up and give good questions and be all in. Can I ask you to do that? To be that engaged audience and help me out on this one? Because, you know, I'll tell you what, you guys always show up, and I love that. And now I'm asking you to go all the way in, Joanne. I know you'll be there. I know you will. Jocelyn's in the house. I missed that. Hi, Jocelyn. I'm glad you're here. Denise is here too. Fabulous. So today I wanted a little something different. So I put my hot melt mix right on top of my water. Look at this. I did it right on top of my sparkling water, and it's all on, and I don't have anything to stir it up with. Isn't that funny? That's the MCT oil doing that. And it's kind of tasty, but a little weird because I have to, you know, go through that. So it's a little strong, but whatever. Hot melt mix, if you don't know about it, this will get you over the hump. I'm feeling bad from the keto flu. Check it out, savingdinner.com / I don't know, supplements, I guess. Go to the supplement page anyway. That's where the hot melt mix is. They're all in alphabetical order. This is a game changer, right? Hi, Susan. I'm glad you're here. Lucy's in the house as well. Yeah, it is yummy, this hot melt mix. And we might be getting some other flavors in too. So we're looking at all of that. Anyway, be there for the sprint tomorrow, for the sprint webinar tomorrow, because few things. Number one, it will just tighten up your skills because, I mean, there's a skill set, isn't there, for sprinting? Number two, support me, would you? I need an audience for this because we are recording this. And number three, be there for your girls. They love it. You know, it's fun. Do we not have a good time when we do webinars? Oh, and number four, we always have a screaming deal. So that's how that works. Here is what we got here. Look. Oh, are you ready for this? This is the quote of the week. It's a doozy. One reason people resist change is because they focus on what they have to give up instead of what they have to gain. This is a good reminder. Yes, Lucy, at 7 p.m. Eastern. This is a good reminder. I love this. You know why? Every time I look at this, do you know what I see? I see a focus away from the poor me stuff. I see a focus on the things that I want, not the stuff that I want to leave behind. Think about that. What we focus on expands. We know that. Good grief. Also, you know what Mark just told me today? So, you guys, you know, I can't even believe that. I can't even believe this. But you know, this beauty support, if you take one a day, there's 60 pills in here. There's 60 capsules in here. I did not know that. There's supposed to only be 30. So that's a screaming deal. And at some point, it's going to get changed. So you know what I'm going to say to you? Be smart and do two. Joanne and I do two. There's a bunch of us who do two. This is a big deal. I've got my son doing two because he's healing. I've got Mark doing two. He pulled his groin playing pickleball the other day. So I've got him doing this. You know, you got to do it. This is how we build up. It's a structural protein and it's a beauty protein. Remember that. That's how this helps you create your own collagen. This is on special. It's on special. Go to savingdinner.com /show to get it. You buy 3, we're going to give you the 4th one free. Now that is a deal. You haven't seen anything like that since the gala, have you? I'm telling you, there's another gala coming up too. I'm not going to lie about that as well. And anyway, oh, and Full Bloom is coming September 10th, 11th, and 12th. You're going to want to be here in Brevard with all of us in person. Yeah. Savingdinner.com/bloom. That is all it is a sign up right now to say, hey, I'm interested. Send me the details. That's all. If you want to be the first to know, don't you? Then you're going to go and get it. Get on that. And then, of course, we always have Q&A on Fridays, right? Don't forget, support@savingdinner.com for your questions. Question for Leanne on Friday goes in the subject line so that we will answer it. Deal? Anyway, who's going to come to Full Bloom? I know there's a bunch. I know Susan's coming. Sarah's coming. Our team is going to be here. Jenny is going to be here. Of course, Amber's going to be here. Are you excited or what? I can't stand it. Yes, I can. I'm excited about it, though. All right, let's get on with the show, because I think this is such an interesting topic, because while what I found when I was doing the research on this is that fear of failure and fear of success can be kind of intermingled with one another. Susan, you're coming. I'm so glad. So's Jane. So's Joanne. Yes. Look at it. Yay. This is making me so happy. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't stand it. It's going to be so much fun. And when you see what we're doing. Oh, and I know, sidebar guys, I have boxes of all these magazines that I've been collecting. We are doing vision boards. Just letting you know, we have a craft time ahead too. And steak dinner and a fabulous lunch. Caroline and I are going to work on the menu because she will be here. You get to meet Caroline as well. It's just going to be pretty spectacular. Can I tell you? Helen, you want to be there. You can be there. We want you there. Please come. Please come, Helen. Anyway, Asheville's your airport, by the way. We'll give you all the details. Friday night's VIP night for a little cocktail cruise, maybe on the boat, as well as, out on the deck, and charcuterie boards and all kinds of things, and wine, of course. And then Saturday's full day of workshopping. And then Sunday, if you want, you can just show up at my house and have breakfast on Sunday morning. No agenda at all. I can't wait. You're booked at the Sunset. That's so good. And Jane says she's going to board an airplane with her vision board. I love it. Yes. Oh, that is so fantastic. Joanne says she's going to bring supplies for vision boards. See, Joanne, all that stuff that you've been holding on to for so long, now it can be put into service. Won't that just bring you so much joy? Yes. Susan, you know what? United will help you with the flight. It will help you. All of everything, we can get that all worked out together. So let's talk about this whole thing. I know I just went off into a tangent, didn't I? I had to. I was excited about this. I love to see it when people say, I'm coming. And hi, Anna, I'm glad you're here. So let's talk about the spirit of success, because I think it's interesting. As I was sitting there thinking about this, and after I had my meditation time, and who here is really benefiting from using their journal, by the way. It's really kept me along the lines of what I need to be doing every day, instead of just going right off the top of my head. Every night when I'm done and I close down my office, I take my stack of stuff up and I start right away with my meditation. And then I get into my journal and I write all my goals out. When you write your goals out every day, do you know what happens? That you start thinking about those things every single day. And yes, you can do it. It's pretty exciting. And I'm having a blast with the whole thing, and I'm seeing actual movement. So as we're talking about, the reason I'm talking about that is because I'm finding that it's helping me to stay on task so that I can move into other areas, move into doing other things quicker. And you know what? Success loves speed. That's something that I learned from a friend of mine. And that's one of the things that he says all the time is success loves speed, because that's how we develop velocity, which in turn turns into momentum, and that's one of the most critical things that we can do. So I believe that and the reason I'm saying this is that I believe that fear of failure is self-centric. In that we beat ourselves up, we feel loathsome sometimes about ourselves. We say terrible things like I suck. You know who I'm talking to, who we love. our lovely Tammy. You know what? I will tell you something here. Let me tell you something. We all suck at some point. We all have times where it's just like, it's just not going well. But your worth and who you are is always central in God's eyes and should be in the rest of us, because who we are is always, always, always going to be the apple of his eye. Always. Put here on purpose and for purpose. That is first and foremost. So that beating ourselves up over mistakes and not staying the course, you know what? That's part of it. And what happens, the big thing is, though, in fear of failure, you not only do you hate that and just feel awful about it and self-loathing, self-flagellation, the whole 9 yards, but most of the time you end up quitting on yourself. And that's a big deal, because when you quit on yourself, you're saying, I have no belief in myself. It's never going to work out. And all those negativity things that we've talked about over and over again, it starts to happen. Whereas for those who have grit and not quit and make a decision not to quit on themselves, they're going to figure another way out of the Edison moments that didn't work. See, that's a big difference. But fear of success is different. Fear of success isn't about self-centric stuff. It isn't about like, oh, I just, suck, I'm awful, I blah, 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 blah. It's not about that. It's about what's everyone going to think. It's such an interesting thing, too, because I know I've been sucked into that one. But how incredibly awful. Okay, you need to go. How incredibly awful is that? This whole idea of playing to an audience that, 1, doesn't exist, 2, there's no stage for, and 3, who cares? We have to stop caring so much. Oh my goodness. Don't you think it's time for them to go away? Let's go. It's a spam call. I don't know who that number is. It's a spam call. But failure is fear of success is that thing where we find ourselves in this place of just thinking, what are they going to say about me? The hyper criticism that you think is out there, and it's all these imaginations and all these things that we think they're thinking about us. Now, I've got an interesting thing to connect to all of that, because I thought about that quite a bit. But I was thinking also about one of my very, very favorite. I'm going to show you. There it is. I'm not going to show you. I'm going to read it to you. But one of my favorite quotes is a quote from Marianne Williamson, and I've shared it, briefly with you. And it starts with, "Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure." Now, that's the one that I've had on my wall forever, and it reminded me that it's okay to be successful, and that yes, maybe I do have this fear that I am, powerful beyond measure. Am I? Then we question that and what have you. But I'm going to read the rest of the quote, because I think the rest of the quote is really appropriate for where we are going. And Betsy says they're letting you know your car warranty is about to expire. Yeah, something moronic like that. I'm glad you're here, Betsy, by the way. "Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world." 2x4? Maybe 2x6. This is awesome stuff, because this is what we do. We go and play small. We say we can't, instead of, well, let's see, let's look for opportunities. Let's look at why and how and what things that we could possibly do. We say we're frightened of success. It's playing small is what it is. It's playing small. You can't show up for your life if you're playing small. You can't show up for others if you are. You can't show up if you say you're opting out because you're scared of success. Let's go a little further. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. Do you believe that? If this is who we are, and this is who He created us to be, then this is exactly the truth, because that fear of success is really the fear of shining and being who we're supposed to be. Can you connect the dots on this? It makes me cry because it hurts us when we do things like this. It hurts us. It diminishes our light, the light that was put in by God Himself in the first place. It is not just in some of us, by the way. If it is in everyone, and as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Boom! Those are some pinkies that are going up. This is how we live with success, because the success was already planted in us when we were born. So when we get hung up on little things, we're stuck on playing for an audience that doesn't exist. That's what fear of success really is, and it's certainly ludicrous, I think. It's worry about what others say about you, like perhaps in front of you or behind your back. I've had that happen before. It's not pretty. I don't like it, but that is exactly what happens. You know what? There's a study that was done in 1976, and you know what they call it? Your guys are going to love it. Neurotic insecurity. I love this. That's what they call the fear of success, neurotic insecurity. And probably it is. It is a little bit neurotic. It is a little bit crazy, isn't it? It's a little bit out there. It's so much navel gazing, isn't it? Well, it is. It's navel gazing and also gazing out and making all these assumptions about what they're all thinking. Isn't it sound cuckoo? It is cuckoo. So what we were worrying about, what a lot of what others are thinking, it's the same thing that we've thought when we witnessed other people's success. Here's where it gets really interesting. So have you ever seen somebody and maybe they've lost the weight, maybe they've gotten a great job or married a great guy, moved to a neat new house, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, you're saying, wow, they don't have the same life I do. They don't have nearly the responsibilities I do. A little green with envy, a little jealous, a little whatever. And you start criticizing them a little bit. Well, it wasn't that great. She just crashed off the weight. Well, it wasn't that much. And well, at her age, she could do it, right? This comparison, the rejection, the pressure on the whole thing. A lot of times we are capitulating the stuff that we've thought about others who've succeeded onto them and thinking, if we do this, this is what they're going to be thinking about me. Boom. It lines right back onto our laps, doesn't it? And I think it's ironic. Don't you think? Who knows that song? I'm testing you all the way through. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? See if we get somebody there who knows it. Did anybody read the 4 Agreements ever? I read that a long time ago. Don Miguel Ruiz said, this is an example of the agreement that we make with ourselves, right? It's an example that we make with ourselves, an agreement that we make with ourselves. Who we are is ingrained on how we behave and what is or isn't possible and what we basically put on other people. There you go, Jennifer. Alanis Morissette. Good God. I'm glad you guys got that. I mean, when I was writing it out, I thought, isn't it ironic? And then I had to say, don't you think? Because, I'm a little bit Lulu that way. So sometimes those agreements are made, though, that we make these agreements with ourselves of who we are. It's from less than thinking. Maybe it is also, maybe we have both things going. We have a fear of success and we also have a fear of failure going, which is quite possible. And isn't it's nutty on one side, but on the other side, it kind of tells us where we are and where we're coming from. And I think that's good, because when we understand a little bit of something, when we understand where we're coming from, and we have the ability to move that needle a little bit, to refocus, recalibrate, and make a difference and make a different choice in the matter. Because remember, our choices are all decisions. And they're decisions about how we think, about how we want our lives to run, how we want to feel about ourselves, how we want to feel about others, how we want our life to go. Remember, one shot. We get one shot at this. So we want it to be our best shot, our very best shot, because that's what vibrancy is. Vibrancy lives in the way you define it and the way it looks to you. You know, my idea of vibrancy could be a little bit different, but does it matter? If we're all vibrant, for heaven's sakes, vibration, vibrant. Remember the sand vibrations and how the beautiful intricacies of those patterns? And did you see how they constantly change? I see that all as us living in a vibrant way. All of us, all different, all unique, all gloriously beautiful, separate, and custom made. So gorgeous. So gorgeous. Yeah, you know what, Jesse, that's so good. Jesse said, I think a lot of my fear of success is triggered by seeing other people doing the same things I am, like a weird mix of competition and fear and intimidation. And that is what I've been trying to say in a very roundabout kind of a way. But honestly, it is this. I think you're right, Jesse, 100%. I think you're right. But I also think it's a way for us to step back and to say, hold the phone. Right? Hold the phone. I have the ability to shift my thinking just a little bit and to start plugging into the things that are going to make a difference. So those agreements, like I said, that we make with ourselves, like of who we are, oftentimes come from less than thinking, like not good enough or fear of all the things, not just success, but we've got fear of failure as well. And maybe fear of looking silly or fear somebody's going to say something or whatever, or diminish us in some kind of a way. This is basing our worthiness on what other people think. And what I always wonder, what do you think God thinks about that? You care more about what they think than I do? Really? That's how I look at it anyway. That's what helps me to step away from that and to see, hold on, big picture. That's what we got to be focusing on. And we have to remember, we can if we want to, but I'm going to tell you, that's misery based. If you want to crowdsource your life, if you want to get up on the stage of your life and play to an audience who doesn't give a rip about what you're doing. You know, I realized this a long, long time ago when I was going through some stuff with, family members and always worried about what they were thinking about me and always looking at all of that. And it just made me think, am I really going to play on a stage for the rest of my life for a bunch of people who may or may not care about me really? I'm worried about what they're going to say about me. I'm worried about what they're going to say behind my back. I'm worried about fear of confrontation when others belittle me with their opinions. You betcha. We can get into that. You know what? I'm going to tell you what, though. It's going to happen. You know why? Because people are not lovely usually. People aren't usually on this personal development path of saying, hey, I want to live a vibrant life. What can I do? How can I raise my vibration? Because that's what vibrancy is, vibration, so that I can have this uniquely glorious life that's all my own, right? How can I do that? Well, how about this? How about this? How do you just step away from all of this? I'm going to tell you. You step away from it because you know it's going to happen anyway. And how much credence are you going to give that? How much weight are you going to give those people's opinions? Those who decide to gossip about you, those who decide to diminish your success. It's going to happen. Do you know how many times I had to listen to stuff like that and emails that I've gotten, personal Facebook messages about people saying really mean stuff to me all the time. I got a lot of it. You gotta let it roll off your back. And you know what? And you don't just have to be in business. You have to be in business for your life, because this is your one shot. Stop crowdsourcing it. Stop playing for an imaginary audience. Stop it. Get off the stage and start living your life. That fear of success, maybe it is a little neurotic. Maybe it is a little irrational. Put it away and make a decision that it's something you don't want anymore. What can you glean from it? And throw that into the experience file. And the rest, boom, make it go away. Oh, Susan, that's a big one. That's a big one. Susan Mason, right here, if you see her right on in the chat, has gone through a lot being a firefighter and in Northern California during that whole fire things. That isn't an irrational fear, of course, but I guess what I would say is that I would look at the side of it as I kept my house, I kept my life, I didn't lose. I mean, you have to compare yourself. This is one of those times when you compare. Look at what everybody else lost and you didn't. And that's where that out of gratitude, that's how you move forward. That's the only thing that I can think of that makes any sense. Otherwise, you get trapped in this fear. You get trapped in fear. Fear is there to trap you, and it's darkness, and it holds you back, and it keeps you away from that vibrant life that you want to live. And that's not to say that you shouldn't have that's a rational fear to have a fear of wildfire, sure. But right now where you are, you're doing the best that you can with what you got. And so moving forward with that is what you can do out of gratitude. And I will hug you, Susan, when I see you. Susan and I know each other in person, so I'm going to be seeing her when she comes. She's been to 2 of my workshops before, so I'm looking forward to seeing you. You need some big hugs, Susan, and we love you. Your life is given to you and no one else. You've lived your life, your experiences, your whatevers, and it's up to you to make a decision about moving forward and not allow things to hold you back. Because anything can hold you back, rational or irrational. And, I have missed the hugs too. I'm really looking forward to it. I want you to, go listen to your one shot. Go listen to the Hamilton's soundtrack about this. He goes through the whole thing about this is my one shot, my one time, my one life. That's exactly what it is. And our fear of failure, fear of failure is your expectations. Fear of success is others' expectations, real or not. That's what it is. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I'm not going to stop with all this, am I? My ex-husband said I could never be anything. He diminished me. He said, you went to school for biology. You can't be a writer. You're not good enough. You don't have like an MBA or anything like that. You don't have any kind of big credential. You're just a nutritionist. Blah, 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 blah. He diminished me. And it was out of his own insecurity that he did it at the time, though it hurt, of course. And it did stop me just for a while, though, just for a while. I finally decided if I kept listening to him, am I going to get any better? Is this going to help me to create the life that I want to lead? Is it? The answer was no. So, then I went on to write 10 books. One was a New York Times bestseller. Got another one coming up. You'll see it in August. I went on to have a radio show. I auditioned for a radio show. Thousands of people, women, right? I got it. And it was in Southern California, drive time radio, all through Southern California from 2 to 3 every day on KBRT. If you know KBRT, that radio station. I went on to create a business that I've had for 20 years. This was out of an idea that I had, and created an industry after that. And then went on to become the national spokesperson for Meals on Wheels America. All because I believed that I could do it. And I had a fear of success. I had a fear of failure. I had a fear of everything, but I did it anyway. And the reason I did it anyway is I didn't like how it felt to be diminished by someone. I didn't like the way it felt to be pushed down and told you can't do that. And finally, I got to the point and said, well, watch me. That's a decision that I made. That is a decision that I made. You're not holding me back. I'm not going to hold me back either. If you don't let others hold you back, then don't you hold you back either. So every single one of these, accomplishments that I've had in my life, it made me have to flip this fear of failure and the fear of success. I had to. And it was a decision that I made. I didn't know how, and I didn't need to know how. I just knew why. Because my why was important. I wanted to live a different kind of a life. I wanted to be an example for my children. I wanted to have a life that I would be proud to say, I did this. That's the difference. And that's the thing that moved the needle. And here's a couple of things that I did, and I'm just going to share 5 things. The first thing I did is I surrounded myself with positive things. Okay. I mean, the quote deck was born out of that, but I started this business. I can't even tell you how many years ago. I started surrounding myself with quotes, and this is before the internet, before anything. And I found them everywhere. I read all books. I read them all. And as I read them, I started to change my mind about a lot of things about myself. This self-limiting beliefs and all of this just simply weren't true. If I was created in his image, which is what I get told, if I am the apple of his eye, then I can't possibly be this big. Can't. Doesn't Marianne Williamson tell us that when we shrink down to fit, that we're not doing anybody any good, are we? And we're not doing ourselves any good either. So I did quotes. I surrounded myself with positive people. And let me just tell you, people who are on the same path as I wanted to go someplace, wanted to do something with their lives, not, ready to just sit there and sit around and gossip and smoke cigarettes and talk, crap. I didn't want to do that. I wanted something completely different. And I say the smoke cigarettes thing because a long time ago, when I was in college, that's what I did. I smoked a lot of cigarettes. Gross. Just did that. And I started a meditative practice. That was a lot later, but boy, was that central. That just centered me so much. I started mantras, I am mantras all the time. I am capable. I am able. I had to flip a lot of stuff. I had a lot of garbage in my head. I started with journaling, lots of journaling. I started with goals, and the goals were so hard. At first, I had a really hard time getting through it, but I finally figured out a system that worked, but I didn't quit ever, never on myself. I didn't quit on myself. I built a success library. Right now I've got a bunch of books that are in boxes, but I have success books. A lot of them I've read, some of them I haven't, and I love being able to go, ooh, let me go read this one. And if I find a new one, even if I don't have time, I order it anyway from Amazon, and I have it surrounding me, and I'm ready to read. I've got several over here on my bookshelf that I'm going to read. I'm excited about that because this is how we develop this personal development is how we develop ourselves. It makes us see things that we can't otherwise see, like, aha, Number 3, you got to take personal responsibility for yourself. It's really easy to blame somebody else or circumstances or whatever. I can blame Lincoln all day long. My goodness, he's a mess, and he's always on me, and he makes it difficult. Impossible? No. Difficult? Sure. But I can figure it out. Good grief, I've got the figure-outable gene, don't I? Yes, I do. And so do you. That's how we were built. So stop it. Stop blame shifting and start taking personal responsibility, and things will shift big time, because then there's something you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about what other people do or say or tell you. I couldn't do nothing about what my ex-husband said. No matter how many times I argued back with him and said, that's just not true. Didn't matter. He had his vision of who I was and why I couldn't. And he thought for sure. And then later on, so, years later, I can't even tell you how many times he's apologized to me and said, I was so wrong and blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. Peace be with you. Get out of here. But that's just the way it is, that when people see things, you don't have to take it in. You don't have to accept what they say. You can still have the grit and not the quit inside and make a decision like that. Number 4, stop telling your tale of woe. Oh, yes, indeed, because I did this. If anybody would listen, I would tell them how mean my ex-husband was, all the horrible things he would say, and I would recount the whole thing blow by miserable blow. And I'd get all emotive and all emotional about it. Sometimes I'd cry. It was a lot. There was a lot going on at that time. Believe me, there was some pretty big drama. But how did that help me? What did that do? Because I'm going to tell you that the more you focus on that, you create more of the same. I gave that all the energy and not my personal development, not what I wanted out of my life. I gave all of the garbage that had just happened. I gave it all. And I told my friends, and I went to Bible studies. Please pray for me. My whole focus was on that garbage. It didn't do a thing for me. And when I finally decided, I'm done telling those stories, I left them alone. And so now I can hardly remember all of them. Thank you, by the grace of God. Thank God. Some of the real ugly ones I can. But, when I left the tale of woe behind and decided to focus on the things that I wanted, it got better, a lot better. And my gumption got better, and my confidence got better, and my motivation to move the needle and to do something different got better. Telling your tale of woe keeps you in that same place. That is a negative loop. And the last thing was, I got physical. Now, I used to dance ballet. I think I told you a long time ago, and my ballet teacher told me, you'd be a really good dancer if you just lost weight. I was 5'8" and weighed 130 pounds, 120 pounds, whatever. But you know what? Listen, getting physical releases dopamine, serotonin. It helps you to connect with yourself. It makes you feel, yes, I can. Being physical puts you in a better mood. Being physical and moving your body is out of gratitude for the one who gave it to you in the first place. Being physical changes your body's chemistry, changes your happiness, changes everything. So all these 5 things, that's what I did. That was my flip of the switch, the change-orama, the get rid of it. It's time to just drop this fear of failure. Drop the fear of success, stop playing for an audience, and start getting on with my life. You do it by playing for your audience of one. Please him. He's given you talents. Go use them. You can't use them if you're saying, oh, my sad story. You want to hear it? I'll go through blow by miserable blow. It'll take about an hour, and then I'm going to hang up the phone and go call someone else and tell them all about it. Oh, but I forgot the one part. Call her back. Blah. Blah. That's vomiting all over yourself and all over everybody else. So just stop it. Step up. Step up, because that's how you level up your life. You're worth more than that. Those tales of woe, we all have them, don't we? We all have them. Get rid of it. Experience file what you need to, and then dump the rest, because it has no business being in your vibrant life. You have the ability to do this because you are a wise woman, right? Pinkies up, wise women. Stacy said she needed to hear this. I'm so glad, Stacy. I'm glad you're here, by the way. Thank you so much for showing up. And bless you all. I love you all. You know that. And I hope tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, you'll show up for the Sprint webinar. We're recording this for all of mankind, womankind. savingdinner.com/sprint to go get your invitation. It's absolutely free. And this is the way that we're going to help others to move the needle in your life. I hope to heavens you're there. Yep. Peace be with you. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.